How's everybody out here today? Yo, I'm Jay Lewis III. Welcome to another episode of the Grief Empowerment Theory. This whole show is all about making sure that people can understand, look, you can go through anything. It doesn't matter, but you can get through it. And you can actually have a much better life going forward. Give me a second. I'm having a guest on today, and he has to get the stream information. I sent it to him, but of course, this is a live situation. So sometimes things happen. Give me a quick second. Let me handle that while I'm dealing with that. I want to talk to you more about the grief empowerment theory. We are going to be streaming live. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook, and we're on LinkedIn. So take a look at the episode. If you don't have time to watch it live, just please simply go right to the stream, and it's recorded on YouTube. So you can go to my YouTube channel, which is at Empowerment 0108. You can take a look at that. Go to my Grief Empowerment Theory channel. And once you do go to that channel, you'll be able to take a look at this and the last couple of streaming videos that I did. You know, that right there, again, I want everyone to understand it does not matter what has happened to you. It only is about what are you planning to do with it going forward. Obviously, what I need to do is I'm running into a slight issue right now. So I need to figure that out right while I'm talking with you. And obviously, it's that's the see. I want everyone to understand that's the way life works. You will always run into challenging circumstances, no matter what, because that is the way that life is. You will always and have we got to get him onto the link, and that means I'm going to have to end the stream and restart it again. Um, well, you know what? Hold on momentarily. Let me see if there's another way I can do this. Because reality is, hey, you learn and you become a better version of yourself in the process. And everything that you learn makes you a better version of yourself. And of course, right now, I'm just kind of talking to address what this situation is. And I didn't have anything like this planned out, but that's okay. That's okay. Absolutely okay. And then you will, okay. Then I will be able to have those better conversation with you. Excuse me. I'm sending my friend my interview, the StreamYard key. So we're going to go there. And again, like I said, listen, this channel is designed to motivate people to learn that it doesn't matter what you've gone through in life. It doesn't matter. As long as you create a spark, and that spark is belief, you can do amazing things. And this channel is going to show that there are people just like you and me who have been able to achieve some amazing things. I actually have a friend of mine. Name is Mike McClendon. He's coming into the grief empowerment theory to talk to people about the fact that it does not, again, as I said before, it doesn't matter what's ever happened to you. Mike is the founder of Grief Tribe Men. He found this program to be able to offer support and community to men who have been going through challenging circumstances in their lives. Mike had a very, very challenging hardship. And that challenging hardship, he uses it now to be able to let people know how to overcome and to also offer a safe haven to people. So, Mike, before I go any further, man, please just explain to the audience, first off, who you are and, what your mission is, brother.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Michael from New York, New Jersey. I created the group to support other men after losing my fiance. This is something that me and her actually had a discussion before she passed about this. Doing something to help people. In school psychology. I'm getting a little feedback. I'm getting a little feedback.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Pardon me for a second.
Okay.
But I think that's on your end.
Okay.
You see?
Is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, the great thing about live is, hey, you're going to run into technical difficulties. You're going to run into all kinds of challenges. But that's life telling you and asking you, how bad do you want it? Because if you want it this bad, guess what? I'm going to embarrass you. If you want it this bad, guess what? I'm going to humiliate you. If you want it this bad, I'm going to make you look so horrible in front of people. It's hard to believe. But over the course of time, what happens is life respects you because you've endured all of the situations. Everything that you were going through, everything that life has thrown at you, at a certain point, what life says is, man, I got to get this guy some help. Because, you know what? He's endured everything that I've thrown at him. And he's even enduring the fact that he's bold enough to do a live stream program. And you know what? Me as life, I'm going to do everything I can to totally make it challenging. Even though he has an awesome guest on who has an incredible message. But Again, the good thing about it, see, here's the great thing about streaming. You have the ability to record. So if the live stream doesn't come through the way it needs to, the good thing about it is the conversation is going to be a strong conversation. You know, Mike, are you up and running?
You let me know. Can you hear it pretty bad?
Like I said, I can hear you.
Yeah.
But there's a little feedback coming through once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how to speak.
No. Hey, but again, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, what I want you to understand is it's very easy to allow all of the circumstances of life, all of the outside situations to make you crumble. Because it's hard. Do you understand that right now I am on a live feed? I'm on a live feed with Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and you know what? I'm having some major technical issues right now. But
Okay. Yeah, still here.
But you know what? Here's the other part. It also does not matter. You see, my goal is to shift the minds of 1 million people so they can realize they can use all of the challenge, all the grief, all that negative energy to their advantage. And from that, they can literally turn a mess into a message. The process that I talk to people about, I speak to my clients about is called the Grief Empowerment Theory, hence the name of the show. The Grief Empowerment Theory, it draws on positive psychology. It draws on utilizing and affirming yourself every day. You know, it drives on Stoic philosophies, talking about letting people know that circumstances happen, things are going to continue, but it's about your attitude. How are you going to choose to concentrate on the circumstance? Are you going to choose to allow it to break you down? Or are you going to choose to use it as a pillar of strength? Also, I metaphorically talk about the concept of physics when it comes to the grief empowerment theory. In physics, we all know there's something called the conservation of energy. And the conservation of energy law in physics, it states that energy can never die. It can only be manipulated. It can't be created, nor can it be destroyed. Well, using those same principles and applying it to how we can manage the challenges that we're going through. See, grief is a form of energy. It's an emotion that comes right from our amygdala region in the brain. And the brain uses immense amount of energy. I mean, over 20% of 20% of the energy in our body is used by the brain. So, with that being the case, we can use the energy and the emotions that we deal with through grief are negative. But all energy can be manipulated. When you shift it, you can use it to work to your advantage. Mike, how we doing, man?
All right, I think we're good. All right, I think we're good.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm finished stalling. I'm going to have this conversation with my man, Mike. because it's an important conversation. We all need to understand how to work through any challenge we're going through. Mike, please give him another rundown, man. And
So yeah, so my name is Michael Clinton. Grew up in Newark, New Jersey. Honestly, if you were in that area during the 90s, you most likely ran into me and Yasmin. Um, but knew her since a young teen. Back and forth all our life. And eventually, we got really serious. Had an amazing relationship. I would say close to perfect. There is. So like I was saying, shortly before her passing, me and her had a discussion about just maybe some things we might do just to give back and help others. Maybe some things psychologists we might do just.
Mike, we're starting to have that issue again.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me at all? No? You know? Still see now.
Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly how life will go. And I'm back on this life thing because you know what? You are going to run into a series of unfortunate events, no matter what happens. It's all about how you're going to allow your mind to push your situation. You know, it's too easy to just crumble, fall, be upset. Look, I want the show to be magnificent because I think that there's so many guests that I'm going to have on that have incredible things to be able to offer. But then, like I said before, look, I'm in a situation where life's going to happen no matter what. And you're going to have to be okay with dealing with it. You know. Well, it looks like Mike is going to have to restart and come back in.
Hopefully. Hope that works.
And, you know, let's do what we're going to do. This is just something that's going to happen. I'm determined. I'm not going to end this stream because, you know what? Just because you have a setback, it does that. I'm going to throw my hat on, wait for Mike to come on in, and continue that interview. Because, seriously, everybody needs to be motivated to the fact that it doesn't look. We're going to have things that happen. We're gonna have challenges, but it's how we handle them. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
All right.
All right. How we sounding? A lot better. A lot better.
All right.
All right. So like I said, Mike, for the third time, man. Give him a rundown. Give him a rundown. Let him know what's
up.
All right. My name is Michael Clinton.
From Newark,
New Jersey.
Me
and John, we pretty much from the same area.
If he was
around there around the 90s
and
stopped in to get a quick bite of McDonald's, I'm sure he ran into me and Yasmin. Most likely Yasmin, because she was in the drive-through at the front.
So
I'm sure you even met her.
Didn't
even know it.
Yeah, so we were together.
Yeah, so we were together
off and on through since like
17 years old.
About 35,
38, something like that. We got really serious.
Had an amazing
relationship.
She was
a
super
smart young lady.
Two
doctorates
in
psychology.
Had her own house. Her own
son, her child.
Great family
and friends. And
unfortunately, August 5th,
2019,
I came home to find her deceased in our home. And so even before that, me and her had discussed helping other people, and so that kind of motivated me to continue to keep her legacy living. And that was one of the reasons I started this group
Trump, man. Look, turning incredible pain into pleasure. Not even pleasure. Turning incredible pain into a cause. See, that's the benefit of being able to find the way to shift the challenges that you've been going through. Mike, let me ask you, what were some of the things that you had to deal with immediately after Yasmin's death?
Man. I'll start from when I found her, man. It was the biggest heartbreak I think a man could probably have. I was just so disappointed.
I was so disappointed
with her, just
in myself, actually, not even with her, just in myself.
So much I could have done.
Felt like it was just so much I could have done.
Could have said things differently to help her. So that was immediately then.
Some people
that felt like,
then there was some people that felt like,
to do with it.
He might have had something to do with it.
That wasn't really able to get to the funeral because it was, her side worried about if I did something, my side, just trying to protect me or whatever. And then I went away to my grandparents for a little bit to heal. And man, I was dealing with some weird stuff, bro. I was seeing things. I was very anxious. I got you.
Okay.
So I was very anxious to the point where I would walk the streets and a squirrel run up a tree and that would just frighten me. So like I said, this happened August 5th, 2019. So shortly after that was COVID.
Right.
So now along with what everyone else was dealing with as far as COVID. Now I'm dealing with grieving and guilt. And my suicidal idealizations. And at that point I was like, all right, it's time It's time to
It's time to
attack
attack
this thing.
this thing.
You know, what was it? What was the incident, or what was the day that made you say to yourself, I can't continue down this path, like you said, and I need to make something happen. I need to get that strength. What was the catalyst?
I'm not
I'm
sure
not sure
when the
when the
exact day
exact day
was,
was,
but I'm
but
sure
I'm
it was
sure it
during
was during
COVID.
COVID.
Um,
Um,
I
I,
was home
I was
alone,
home alone,
hurting,
hurting,
and
and
in my
in
head
my
I
head I
actually
actually
knew,
knew,
all right, if
all right,
things
if
get
things
too
get too
hard, this is
hard,
how I'm
this is
going to
how I'm
take my
going to
life.
take my life.
Once that
Once
happened,
that
I was like,
happened, I was like, nah,
you
you know,
can't
you can't let this
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 pattern
pattern
continue.
continue.
So I
So
wanted to
I wanted
be
to be
the end
the
all,
end all,
the end of
the
that.
end of that.
Okay. So when did you come with the idea of Grief Tribe Men? How did that whole thing come about?
Um, like I said, when I had those thoughts,
Like I said,
and I was like, all right,
when I
forget
had
this.
those,
So I
so
started doing my
I
own
started
research. Like,
doing.
look, what am I? First of all, I did have people that popped up into my life that were never there. They just out of nowhere just popped up into my life, and they were saying, "Hey, this is what's going on. This is what you're gonna deal with. This is what I've experienced the same thing with a friend of mine or a family member or a loved one." So
So
I had at least
I had at
3 people,
least 3 people,
and then
and then
once I kind of
once
got
I
the
kind of got
format
the format
of how,
of
like they
how,
had a
like
group,
they had a group,
and the group was
and the
called
group was
Grief
called
Tribe.
Grief Tribe.
So they, once I kind of
So
saw
they,
that
once I
format of how
kind of
they
saw that format
invited
of how
people
they
in,
invited people
and they were
in,
just
and they
like
were
a
just like
very close
a
community.
very close community.
And but it was a lot of women. It
And
was mostly
but it
women.
was a lot of women. It was mostly women.
So it was things
Okay.
that
So it was things that
I wanted to ask, or I
I
wanted to
wanted to
know
ask, or I wanted
that
to
women,
know
I didn't feel like they would understand.
that women, I didn't feel like they would understand.
So I started doing the
Yeah.
research, and then I said, you know
You
what, I'm
know,
So
going
I
to start
started doing the
something for
research,
just
and then
men.
I said, you know what, I'm going to start something for just men.
you know what? That's interesting because you're right. Listen, I do a podcast with a widower, with a widow, excuse me.
Yeah.
And it's called Happily Never After. And one of the big things we talked about is the fact that men and women grieve absolutely differently. You know, same situation, grief, the way the grief is done from a man's point of view and from one point of view is different. And like you said, you know, when you went into Grief Tribe, it was a lot of women there. And although the information was great information, it's you there weren't other men there to help with the validation process of things. So you know what? You took it upon yourself to
Yeah.
just literally start a program that was modeled after Grief Tribe, but it was conducive to men and being able to, like I said before, being able to offer men a community and a safe haven. Um, Talk more about how that whole thing blossomed.
Uh,
Uh,
it started out with like a Instagram chat group, and with Instagram, they only allow you to have maybe like 25, 30 people in it,
30 people, man.
and so it's
And
just the same
so
way I
it's
have
just the
now.
same way I have
I have my
now.
group of
I
guys.
have
I have
my group of
some
guys. I
people
have some.
that are experts such as yourself that are there to help with the group. And I would like just post information, and then as it started getting a little bit bigger, I was like,
Ladies
all
and
Getting
right,
a
gentlemen,
little bit bigger. I was like, all right, guys,
we're gonna go over to Facebook,
we're gonna go over to
and
Facebook.
then and
And then
somehow getting
and
on Facebook, I ran
somehow
into
getting on
Tony
Facebook, I ran
Lynch
into
from
Tony
Memories of
Lynch
Us,
from Memories of Us.
and then he kind of helped it
okay.
blossom. So it went from like 30 to like 100
Okay.
in a night.
So it went from like 30 to like 100 a night.
See, what's interesting is you will run into people. It's funny because I'm glad you actually mentioned Tony Lynch. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something. I met Mike one day out of the blue, and he was just sending, me messages through Facebook, and he says to me, "I want you to meet a gentleman named Tony." And when I met Tony, just like what Tony has done for Mike, Tony's done the same thing for me. And we all have people that are going to help move us forward. And the goal in life is to become that person that's going to help move forward. That's why, again, I'm having these different conversations. And I apologize because, ladies and gentlemen, we've been running into a lot of technical difficulties. Personally, I don't even know if Mike can hear me right this second. Oh, okay. He's nodding his head. He can hear me. So, you know what? I'm going to stop talking. And I'm going to let Mike finish. Go ahead, Mike.
Where I'm starting at.
Where I'm starting at.
Man, wherever you want to start right now. But you know what? Let's go back to the fact you were introduced by Tony to help grow your group and blow it up. And from that point, what are you now doing to be able to provide more services to men in the community?
Right now, we got a new guy in the group. He's full of energy.
Right now,
I love him.
got a new guy in the group.
Me and
He's
him,
full of energy.
Doing like a grief retreat for men. So we're doing that. I'm in the beginning stages of my book still. We have some a little bit of Grief Tribe merchandise.
A little bit of Grief Tribe merchandise or whatever.
I want to get to the point where
I would like to get to the point where
in the group
we do get men in the group. And
when there's women and they lose a spouse, there's usually some type of support. When there's men, it's kind of just like, all right, well.
But when there's men, it's kind of just like, all right, well.
So I would like to
pull your bootstraps.
Right.
I would like to
a little bit more.
Kind of support.
Men, we don't get that support because we're told we need to be the strong hunter-gatherer type, and that's right. But in the same turn of screw, everybody has feelings. Everybody goes through circumstances. And if you notice, that lack of empathy right now is a big reason why a lot of people, a lot of men especially, go off the deep end. I mean, I was just reading this statistic on things like mass killers. Please, that's a whole different thing. But anyway, they were saying that out of all the mass shootings, out of all the mass killings that have happened, so far there's only been really 3 female serial killers. The rest are spree killers, the rest have been men. And it's interesting because, see, very quickly, whatever our situation is can blow up. And it's only after it's blown up and become something crazy do people even acknowledge it. While you're going through it, you got to go through it alone. And then the day you decide to wild out, that's when everybody has something to say. Mike, earlier you were talking about things like films of guilt. You were talking about the fact that you had no idea that Yasmin was going to go this route. What made you feel guilty about yourself for the actions that Yasmin committed?
Well,
Well,
I've
I've
always been the
always been the
type,
type,
especially with
especially
her.
with her.
Um,
Um,
I was
I
very
was very
protective of
protective
her.
of her.
Right.
Um,
Um,
I
I
always would
always would
check with her.
check
Hey,
with her.
how's
Hey,
your
how's your
knees? How's
knees?
your
How's
back?
your back?
How's your
How's your
shoulders?
shoulders?
Everything all
Everything
right?
all right?
And for
And for
her to
her to
do that,
do
I
that,
just
I
felt
just felt
like
like
I didn't
I didn't
do
do
my
my
job as a
job as a
man
man
of
of
protecting her.
protecting her.
You know, understood. Let me ask you: did she give you any signs? I mean, or was this just something that's so random that when you walked in, you were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this."
For me, it was
For
very
me, it
random.
was very random.
Like I said, she was
Like I
a
said, she
psychologist,
was a
so that's the very
psychologist,
last thing that I was expecting of her. I mean, you know,
so
we all have issues
that's
or
the
whatever like that.
very last
I would
thing
never have expected
that I
that.
would.
And that's something that's another thing that a lot of men, you know, we come to a surprise circumstance in anything, whether it's some type of grief related to the work or related to the home or whatever. I mean, to walk in and to to eventually find your fiance, in a situation where she's taking her own life. You're questioning everything, and then eventually you start questioning yourself. You start thinking, what did I not do? And that becomes an extra part of the challenge that we're dealing with, of the hardships, because now you feel inadequate. And again, if I'm wrong here, please just step in at any time. But I think that's a big thing. You feeling inadequate, and now you feel like there was something that you could have done to address someone else's situation. When in your mind, that's not really true. But the feeling will allow you, the emotions will allow you to believe that. You know, how are you able to, speaking of emotion, how are you able to get a handle on those emotions to the point where you were able to concentrate and create Grief Tribe Men?
Um,
Um,
like I said, I
like I
was in that group with the ladies, and
said,
one of the things
um,
that they allowed me to do, they just allowed me just to talk about it, just over and over and over. They didn't care. They said, "Look, just say it over and over if you need to. Um, we're gonna be here to listen." And that was the most important thing, just to have
You were
somebody
running
that.
into some more technical issues.
say,
Am I frozen?
am I frozen?
No, you're on now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
yeah. So
yeah, so
just being in that
just being
group,
in
it
that
kind of
group,
taught
it
me
kind of
that
taught me that
it really
it
helps to
really
just
helps to
talk,
just talk,
even if
even
you
if
repeating the
you
same
repeating
thing
the
over
same
and
thing
over.
over and over and over.
That kind of
That kind
really
of
helped
really
me,
helped me,
really, because
really,
you feel
because you
stuck,
feel stuck.
and it kind of get pushes it
Pushes
through
it
to help
through
you
to help you
get to
get
the
to the
present.
present.
So
So
once I got to
once
the
I got to the
present, I'm like,
present, I'm like,
all right, I'm
all
ready
right, I'm
to
ready to
rock and roll.
rock and roll.
You know, it's funny. No, not funny. It's ironic that it's usually the challenges that will spurn us forward. It's the difficult situations. Now, and let me ask you this: when you speak to men, are they always talking to you about, well, I hear this, I hear that. They always say this, and it makes everything that they've said. It almost seems like it's a negative knock on them almost making them feel justified for wanting to, be depressed, be down, possibly go through some things. When you speak to men, what are some of the things you say to them to encourage them to keep moving forward no matter what?
Well,
Well,
one of
one of
the
the
main
main
things
things
I try to
I try to
focus
focus
on
on
is
is
get that
get that
negative
negative
talk
talk
out
out
of
of
your
your
head.
head.
You have
You have
to
to
double
double
the
the
positivity with
positivity
that
with that
negative.
negative.
Um,
Um,
and
and
then I
and then
try
I
to
try to
influence them
influence
to
them to
feel their
feel their
feelings.
feelings.
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
You know,
You know,
a
we
lot of
know a
us are
lot of us
ashamed
are
to
ashamed to
cry.
cry.
Sometimes we might
Sometimes we
feel
might feel
guilty
guilty
for being
for being
happy.
happy.
And I try to let them know, hey, bro,
And I try to let
it's
them
okay.
know, it's okay.
So I think once they feel safe, then
It's
they're a little more eager to open up.
okay.
All right, I'm back.
I'm back.
All right, I'm back too. So, like I said, hey, it looks like the on my side of things, Wi-Fi issues. But like I said, that's the way life is. And yo, I mean, real quick, serious one again, because this is clearly some type of issue. But in the meantime, Mike, the program you've put together, it's incredible because men, we, like you said earlier, we don't have any way to outlet our feelings. We got to hold it in. And what's interesting is the people we feel that are going to be there for us, they're not there, and it's not because they don't want to be. It's because they're looking for you to be their rock. So it's one of those situations where they're looking for you to help and you're looking for them to help, and well, you're the man. So you have to suck it up. And you have to internalize. And in that internalization, you still have to put on a smile so that everybody else can be okay. And that ends up being a much bigger problem. Now, when men are facing issues like that, and they come to you, what are some of the pieces of advice that you give them when they're just so on the edge where you see they're about to go?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
That they are teetering on the edge, where they've let, again, everybody, they have everything's on them. And like you said, they're about to maybe end it. They're about to walk away. What are some of the things you say to them to get them to come back to reality? To get them to come back and
Now,
tell,
I don't want to
say,
make it.
yeah, nah.
And I don't want to make it.
Oh yeah, I don't want to make it seem like
I don't want to make it seem like
some
there's
magical
some
word
magical
or
word
action
or
that
Right.
I can do
action
that
that I can do that
miraculously make these guys feel
miraculously
better.
make these guys feel
But
better. But
I try to remind them of the people that they still have.
Try to
I try to justify their feelings, let them know, hey, what you're feeling is valid, and then I just try to be an ear. Like I said, I try to force them to continue to talk,
continue to
continue to
talk.
tell me how you feeling,
Continue to tell me how you feeling.
and not only
And not only
for that one
not
day,
only
but every day. I
for
try to
that
be
one
there.
day, but
Give
every
me a
day I
call
try to be
tomorrow.
there. Hey, give me a call tomorrow.
next week. Keep
Give me a
calling.
call the next
We're
week.
gonna
Keep
go get through
calling.
this together.
We're gonna go get through this together.
You know, in light of Yasmin passing away, I, although you and her had a conversation about being able to do this thing, did you ever really see yourself being a person
No.
who could,
I am
No. I am
the extroverts of extroverts. we used to, when I was in East Orange, I grew up in East Orange a little bit, and we had a presentation class where we get in front of the camera. Oh, I don't know how I didn't fail. I got C's every time. I just hated it. I still hate it, but I feel like it's a higher power and a higher
the
calling.
ultimate introvert, huh?
Ultimate.
You know, my bad. I think I'm gonna end up cutting the stream a little. I'm gonna end up cutting the stream a little early, just because we're having a lot of technical difficulties right now.
Yeah.
But that's
yeah.
again, look. Let me tell you something. Whenever you have some important information, whenever you have something of value, you're gonna run into an amazing amount of challenges and hardships because the way reality is working is again it works with life to try to test you as far as you can possibly go because it wants to find out how how committed you are. It's gonna let you know that you're gonna have to go through all kinds of difficult situations. I mean, you know, Mike, are you back on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I Mike, like the things you went through. I mean, listen, man. You had to go through losing the love of your life. And then you had to go through dealing with people you thought were your friends, people you thought were your family. Um, questioning you. Then you had to question yourself against a person. And under normal circumstances, people will go left of center. People will go to the farthest degree. And like I said, you said you even considered that at one time. The What are some of the techniques that you use to encourage other men to be strong? You know, I mean, I know it's conversation, but on top of that, do you have any particular techniques or anything that you use to be able to help them?
Nothing particular.
Nothing particular.
I just try to be a
Just
listening ear. That I would say that's the main thing. A listening ear, getting them together with a community of people that understand them, that
listening
understand
here,
what's going on,
that understand what's going on,
and that kind of allows them to
and
be
that kind of
vulnerable.
allows them to be vulnerable.
Once someone is
Once someone
comfortable
is
being vulnerable,
comfortable being vulnerable,
now you
now
got
you
a path
got a
to help.
path to help.
You know, that's what's interesting about that. I'm actually going to end the stream in a few moments, but I wanted to say something on that. You see, when a person feels heard, when a person feels validated, especially right after or during some type of crisis or grief related situation, that becomes a point where that validity will help them to be able to move forward. And Grief Tribe Men is just that. I mean, it's the type of community that allows men to just simply be comfortable. I mean, I've gone on the Grief Tribe Men site, and I've been able to really get some valuable, you know, some valuable help, and also been able to offer some valuable. That's the other thing that's great about Grief Tribe Men is the fact that you know what, it's a community where you have so many different related issues, and then you have the ability to be able to cross reference them. And so some people who may have gone through a loss may be able to help some people that are going through. And then somebody that lost their job may be able to offer some advice, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how the whole thing, first off, that's how men kind of communicate. You know,
Absolutely.
it's the good thing is your site is it's the bar without the drinks. You know, and that's really what it is. And
That's
That's
good.
good. That's good.
and it's a great atmosphere to be able to have have that type of community and to not have to feel the pressure and to understand that there are other men that are going through similar circumstances. It's all a process of growth, you know? And it's unfortunate that the challenge that you've had, whoever the situation is, the challenge that they had, that it's hard, but when you shift your perspective, it is a promotion to your growth. Ladies and gentlemen, needless to say, this show, this live stream is finally coming to a halt. I mean, I know there was a lot of technical difficulties. That's okay. That's okay. Because you got to hear my beautiful voice. That's all. I mean, hey, it's being serious about all this. This was a great opportunity to be able to let the listeners, let the audience know you are gonna you're gonna run into issues, but you can't fold up into a turtle shell each time that happens. You know, and Mike was a great guest to be able to have something like this happen because he is a person that deals with the real life situations of people. Talk to them, let them know, look, it's gonna happen, but it's all about your mentality. It's all about how you go about dealing with it. I tell my clients real quick, I'm gonna say this and I'm out. I tell my clients real quick, you can't unscramble eggs, but you can make a hell of an omelet. See, the egg, when you break the egg and make the attempt to unscramble it, you spend your time stressing the past, stressing things you can't fix. But when you decide to turn that scrambled egg mix into an omelet batter, well, you get to enjoy a great meal for your future. And that's the way you need to look at things. I mean, Mike, listen, I just wanted to say thank you so much for, touching base with this. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna have Mike back on because, like I said, once we figure out what's going on, well, obviously, I'll get this whole technical issue fixed. Hey, it's a process. That's what life is. Life's process. So, needless to say, I'm gonna hang this up. I'm gonna say thank y'all very much, Mike. Like I said, it was a pleasure having you, brother. It really was.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'll definitely be back.
Now,